Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Speak Truth Without Fear, the podcast that's the shard that goes in the heart of the devil. Welcome.
What is going on, guys? That's the perfect intro for today. This is Jordan Sarmo, and we got RossDuhBoss on. And man, a lot has gone down this week.
A lot.
Right now I'm in Dallas. I'm in Dallas, Texas. I've been meeting with which obviously, as you guys can tell, I'm in the backdrop. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, you can. The backdrop is a hotel. I'm in a hotel room right now in Dallas. We're using the microphone right now, right here through my other phone. So we are making sure that we can get you this podcast on time. But yeah, I've been in Dallas for the last couple days, meeting with a social media company that is planning to launch here in the next 2 months. And man, so exciting what they're doing. They're doing some really incredible work, no censorship. It's going to have a full-on app. They're not on the Amazon servers. It's just the entire system looks great. And I'm really excited that to see what it turns out to be. They have an incredible team. And so that's what I've been doing in Dallas.
I am down here in Mar-a-Lago meeting with Donald Trump Jr. for the past couple days. As you can see if you're on YouTube, I'm actually not there. I'm at home and did not meet with any of the Trumps and have been doing fascinating toys with my children. So, yep.
Though, that's a win right there. You're hanging out with your children. That's most than most dads, I would say. You're like, yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I love them.
Yeah, it's okay.
I was just mainly trying to also sound important. Hey guys, I'm coming to you from the border. We just got shot at a couple of times. Woo! We are ducking left and right out here, but we are excited to be bringing you the news. Whoa! Just dodged another one there. They are all wearing Biden t-shirts, and they're firing rockets at us right now. I knew this would happen. You guys knew it. We're here first. Boom. RossDuhBoss on the field. Just kidding. See how long we can keep this going. Everybody's like, get to the meat. There's certain people out there in the movement. Jordan, you've probably known them by now. They're always really intense in the comments that are like, get to the meat, mother. You know how it is. And they're probably really wishing we'd hurry up and start talking about important stuff now. But guys, this is part of it. Part of this is just being normal and kidding around.
It is so true. But man, so real quick, a couple announcements. Number one, make sure you guys, if you're listening to this, speaktruthwithoutfear.com, put in your email. We need it because, again, as a lot of you guys know, last week, my personal Instagram got banned from going live, so we are fully dependent right now on the Speak Truth Without Fear Instagram. Make sure you guys put in your email. We also have a support box on there. If you even in the description of the podcast, there's a donor box link. Because me and Ross and the entire team, there's a whole team behind Speak Truth Without Fear that is working, and we are working right now on our own time. We're investing our own money into this thing because we want to really see real change happening in our country today. So with that being said, man, first of all, let's talk about, Fauci's probably the biggest story of the week, or really of yesterday and today, which I want to get into. But before we do, I want to talk about the elections because I've been, one thing we've said multiple times, we both said this, Ross, over the last couple of weeks, that the media is constantly trying to distract us from really what are the main 2 points. And I believe I said this last Thursday. We said there's 2 things that we have to get to the bottom of. Number one is what happened on November 3rd, 2020. What happened to the election? And number 2, where did this virus come from? What happened with the COVID leak? Because again, I think if we get to the bottom of these 2 things, we will get the entire thing just completely shatters and falls. The entire narrative, the media, the politicians, the left, everything that they've been pushing to us for the last year is shattered. And so, I don't know.
And you guys already see that. You guys already see that with Fauci's email stuff. Like,
yes.
Listen, everybody who was rational said asymptomatic spread doesn't seem to be a thing that should be worried about. Every doctor, every virologist that had been doing it for 10, 15, 20, 30 years was like, well, symptoms and having a runny nose where the germs are getting out of your face and onto things is usually how stuff is spread. And then they were like, not for this one. This one, asymptomatic spread is the super scary thing where you can have no symptoms whatsoever and be absolutely a respiratory threat to other people. And the former vice president of Pfizer contradicted that, said no way. Multiple other virologists said that. Dr. Fauci himself at one time said that asymptomatic spread is never the catalyst or the cause of what creates pandemics, but then went back on it later on. So we have all been watching Fauci do what seems to be backflips and flip-flopping. This email release that happened from the Freedom of Information Act, I believe BuzzFeed actually filed this stupid thing. Which hate them for everything else, but love them for, hey, look, we'll clap and cheer at the right times, us conservatives. And good job, BuzzFeed, saying this. I don't know what the dealio is, but either way.
Which also makes me suspicious, though.
Yeah, it's like, what are you distracted me from? What child did y'all kill and put in a grave somewhere? Did you guys create a robot version of Greta Thunberg somewhere? And anyway, just kidding. But yeah, so I forgot what I was saying, but let me get back to it. So you saw a bunch of the flip-floppings. It felt suspicious to everybody, and everybody was blowing the whistle on it, but they still kept their composure that, no, you were all wrong. And then these emails come out, and they confirm that, yes, actually, your initial suspicions were rightly founded and supported by Fauci's own words and other scientists that worked with him and emailed him about whether masks are efficient, whether asymptomatic spread is a thing, whether there was funding going to the Wuhan lab of virology, whether or not the lockdowns were. So anyway, lots of things. What you want to talk on that a little bit more, Jordan? What else came out in these emails that I'm forgetting?
Yeah. So, first thing, we have January 31st, 2020. And if you guys go to my Instagram, there was a post that I made yesterday, which a quick little shout out to Candace Owens and DC Drano because they both reposted this and shared it. And I
didn't know Candy reposted you. She did, you son of a gun. Look at you acting like that's not a big deal. You're like, me and Candace were just, we were vibing, we were chatting, and she was like, I'll post it, bro. Anyway, it was then we, had a drink, and we hung out for a little bit. It was cool. And then I went back to work the next day. Yeah, right, guys, Candace Owens reposted it. Shout out. Everybody go to Jordan Sarmo. Go to the Instagram. Go look at this shit. Go to DC Drano's Instagram, and go look at that shit. Guys, we're blowing up. RossDuhBoss and Jordan Sarmo are getting kind of famous, and it's kind of fun, and it's a little scary, too, but it's fun.
But again, that's not why. Yes.
Listen to this guy. If his cheeks could be red, folks.
Well, no. To me, though, for real, though, what makes me happy is that we're seeing that we're really making impact for real. Because,
of course.
A lot of people, they get into especially me, like it's very easy to look at like, oh my gosh, we're getting more followers or we're getting more likes or how many comments. But at the end of the day,
it's about changing the world.
It's about really making impact and making people aware of what's happening. And so, for me, yes, was it cool to see DC Drano and Candace reposted? Yes, that is a great feeling. But more than anything, what I'm most happy about is that, this post that I made, and I'll read it real quick. I said, for every single one of you who blindly trusted Fauci and masked up your children, you became a sheep to the government. I want you to begin to read through these emails and recognize that you were duped and lied into celebrating tyranny and voluntarily gave your freedoms away for a lie. And then if you swipe over to these, I put 10 posts in that same post, and you can swipe 10 pictures, and you go through all of Fauci's emails. And one of these emails, January 31st, Fauci got an email from a doctor warning him this virus looks engineered. It looks man-made. It came from a lab. It did not come from a bat or a bowl of soup. We talked about this last Thursday. February 22nd, Dr. Michael Jacobs emails Fauci saying that this looks like this virus was released from the lab in Wuhan. He got that email again a month later. February 4th, Fauci emails and says most transitions occur for someone who is symptomatic, not asymptomatic, which was the entire, the asymptomatic conversation.
The asymptomatic thing is the reason that everybody has been made to wear masks for 15 months. Was the fear of asymptomatic spread. So everybody, whether you knew you were healthy or not, or whether you felt good or not, it was irrelevant. You are now a respiratory threat to other people. Wear a mask. That, like I said before multiple times, that was new information. That was a new way of doing things. The former vice president of Pfizer, the guy who makes one of the vaccines, said that is a new idea, that you are a respiratory threat without symptoms. And Fauci heard it from other people too, and then he still said what he said. And your family had to wear these stupid masks for 15 months because everybody just blindly trusted this dude that no longer has a book deal. If you don't think it's sketchy and you want to be one of the people that acts like this isn't weird, tell it to the 30 publishers that were about to put out his book that just dropped him like a bad habit. What do you think they found? You think he's squeaky clean? You think that's what just happened? Or what do you think the people who spend millions of dollars investigating things to determine whether they should publish somebody's book or not just found?
When you have Amazon and Barnes and Noble cancel you, you got a problem. When you're on the left and you have Amazon and Barnes and Noble cancel your book on the day of release, that's when you know that there is smoke and there is fire. And
because here's what you can say. You can say babies are not humans. You can say we should kill off older people above 75. You can say white people are terrible plague to the earth and they should be exterminated. You should say that if you're straight, then it's a form of the patriarchy and hate speech to act straight in front of gay people. You can say all of the dumb things that I just said have been published in books by those same people. What must have Fauci done to get them to go no? So that's the proof that makes you go, I should at least investigate this.
And the most frustrating thing is we have been labeled and called conspiracy theorists. And this is this is how you launched, Ross. I mean, your conspiracy theorist videos with the tinfoil hat. I mean, these were the type of videos that, people could relate to, because everyone, that is the new label for the left to blame the right. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, you don't believe that there's systematic racism. You're a conspiracy theorist. Oh, you don't believe that masks work. You're a conspiracy theorist. That is the label that they use.
You think the government's trying to control us. You're a conspiracy theorist. Yes. No shit.
Yep, exactly. And so, I mean, they have used Dr. Fauci and the things that he has said over the last year to spark fear. And the asymptomatic thing is so big, like Ross just said, because if it wasn't for that, we would not be masked up for the last year, because I remember every conversation.
Or locked down.
Or locked down, correct.
That's a bigger thing.
Every single conversation I had with someone, I was like, why are you wearing a mask? Asymptomatic. You don't know if you're asymptomatic. You don't know if you're sick. It was fear. That is how they got an entire, not even just nation, planet. They got the entire planet locked down because of something that now Fauci, in his emails that he wrote himself multiple times, says is not even the case. Which is, to me, again, this is where, I mean, who is controlling Fauci? Because we all, like we said this last week, we all saw the 60-minute interview a year ago where Fauci said masks don't work on national television. He completely reversed. Now we're seeing the emails that he wrote, that he obviously has completely lied. And so, I mean, guys, we have to start literally downloading these emails, screenshotting them, showing them. And when you start having this conversation with people, like literally show them the email and say, hey, why are you living in fear? Oh, because of, Fauci or the CDC. Well, have you seen the email that Fauci wrote himself? No. What does it say? Because a majority of these people are in echo chambers. And again, there are going to be some people that are just so far gone. They're so far left. Don't even waste your time with them. But you have friends and families that are loved ones. Maybe they're thinking about getting vaccinated. Maybe they're or whatever it is. You need to start becoming aware and getting knowledge on these things so that you can bring these conversations to people.
Save it on your phone, like you said, and stuff, man. And maybe come up, I think I'm going to do this probably for Speak Truth Without Fear. We'll have like a little part of the website that'll say like the best ways to be confrontational and to win the arguments in ways that are conducive for your relationships or something, you know, but like one of the ways to do it is before you even start talking about this controversial stuff, ask the person, will you, if I give you something to look at, are you one of the people that actually looks at it and will consider the information and change your mind, or is that not something you'll consider? And that will make them give you a rational response, which is, well, of course, sure. And then you can go, here is the picture of the email that says the opposite of what you are telling me to do when you ask me to wear a mask. You're literally doing the opposite of what Fauci himself believes. Here's his email for it. I don't know what to tell you. You've been duped. This is unfortunate. I'll help you understand anything you want to on this side, but you need to know you have been micro brainwashed, or it could be people who's been super brainwashed, you know, but you have been. If you're wondering how it happens, you just watched it happen to an entire nation. You were just made to feel like an evil person for something that was completely fabricated for 15 months. If you walked into a Subway 7 months ago and you weren't wearing a mask, the person behind the counter would chastise you and tell you to leave, and you couldn't spend your money that you earned in the United States of America freely to purchase goods because you were doing something that was disagreed with socially and pressured politically. You need to remember that, guys. It happened quick. Something way worse can happen just as fast.
Mike Cernovich, he tweeted out this fashion. He calls it Faucius, basically Fauci lovers. Faucius will say the science has changed in response to the scandalous and perhaps criminal revelations in these Fauci emails, but they won't say how the science changed. Hint: nothing has changed. It was all a lie. And I think this is where we can this is the foundation that we come from. It was a lie. There's no need to fear. The science is out. We already know that anyone over the age of 85, has a 99.68% chance of survival. Anyone under the age of 85, I mean, if you're a 32-year-old like myself, you have a 99.998% chance of survival. We know the numbers. We know now, if you watched our Instagram live last week with Nurse Erin, we know that the hospitals were getting paid $13,000 for each admission that they got into a bed. We know now $37,000 for each person that was on a ventilator. Even if they didn't need it, they still wanted to get them on a ventilator. Why? Because the hospitals were getting paid by somebody.
And this isn't conspiracy theories, guys. This is not conspiracy theories. If you're even listening to this and are a conspiracy theorist, that's congrats. I don't know how you made it this long without making yourself be compelled to leave from hearing so many controversial things. But if you are on here and you're thinking, I just can't really prove it. We had the nurse who wore the glasses that were recording visual and audio, and she showed us them doing these things. And she showed Tucker Carlson on Fox, and she showed The War Room and countless others, Owen Schroyer, Alex Jones, all those guys. They saw this. We've all seen it. We've talked to these people. And so enough with demonizing the opposition when it comes to ideological framework. You have to, at this stage, be a person who goes, all right, it looks like top credentialed experts in this field said this, and then the other side says that top credentialed experts are saying the opposite. I must now be accountable for my own conclusions and look at both sides to make good decisions, because there does seem to be deception afoot. That's just a fair, rational way to think of these things from now on.
I completely agree. So, guys, the emails are out. The facts are out. The science is out. We don't need to fear. We can be bold about our stance. And again, we're done being the silent majority. We're done. It's time to be bold about what the truth is. And it's not our truth, it's the truth. It's the facts. It is the science. It's time to speak out. It's time to get involved. The time is now. So I think that kind of gives the recap of, where Fauci is. I mean, man, Fauci must. What do you think Fauci's doing right now? What is the day?
First off, you have to remember he's 80 something. So even though he seems like he's 56 and partial bloodline to Yoda, because he just looks Like, dude, he's such a likable looking guy. You're just like, quit picking on him. He's just trying to work hard, man. Come on. Like, that's the way that he feels. And maybe they knew that. He has like stuffed animal syndrome where you just kind of want to snuggle him. But what do I think he's doing? He's 80. So he's probably worried about his health a little bit. And he's probably going, well, this blew up. And then he's going, well, crap. I lost the book deals. That was, $1.3 million down the drain. And then he's probably thinking, well, at least I have these 6 contracts with Bill Gates and the Melinda Gates Foundation and the 4 vaccines that I helped do this with. And so those are still making me money. So I'll figure something out and maybe I can just go to the shadows or whatever. And they're going to pay me $170,000 for being the fall guy for this. And I'm going to get to go live on a mountain somewhere.
You know what I'm thinking? Prison. The dude needs to go to prison. He lied to the planet, and he is one of the main reasons why he is that we as a planet, not just a country. I mean, you have people in Edmonton, Canada right now that can't leave their house. They can't leave their house. You're in Australia right now, and
Someone justify that. Someone justify not being able to leave your house right now. That is insane.
Why? Because the orders of Fauci. Fauci said you were asymptomatic. Fauci said this was not engineered, even though he even said that he had no evidence that there was. When he got multiple emails that you can read, there are 3,200 emails, and the only ones that we've seen are like 25. Like, we're going to start seeing these emails. People are going through them right now, and over the next 2 weeks, we're like, oh my God, this email. And again, you can, on my Instagram story, which I'll repost this again, I'll put a swipe up link. You can literally go through all 3,200 of them, every single one. Fauci, there has to be consequences. I'm so tired. I'm so sick and tired of people in power. The rules for thee, not for me. I'm so sick of there's no consequences for people that lie under oath, lie to Congress, lie to the American people. It affects our lives directly. And they're getting rich. Fauci is the highest federal employee paid in the entire country. And he's getting paid the highest salary by taxpayers to lie to us, to ruin our businesses, to ruin an entire year of our lives, to mask up our children. And what? We're just like, oh, well, Fauci made a mistake. That's what the left are going to say. Fauci made a mistake, or the science changed. No, the science never changed. The science was the science, and he lied about it. And
the reason why? He chose precautionary methods that were not used in the history of science before this to make us all submit to it as the first time trials. And then tons of people got this freaking vaccine put in them that they don't know what's going to happen. And I keep talking slow because I feel like when I talk fast and excited, it like goes past some people. And I'm like, I have to slow down to help people get it, because it's like, guys, if you were reading this in a story, you would be like, whoa, that was a villainous thing to do. And he duped how many millions of people? How many billions of people? You guys got to think that the rest of the world looks at the United States and goes, whatever they do, we're probably going to replicate or duplicate something like it because we trust them in these areas. And look, it was wrong. And it seems like one thing's for sure in this scenario. A lot of people that already had a lot of money got a shit ton more money. And a lot of people that were having trouble making good money started making a lot less money. That's definitely something that happened. It was the biggest wealth transfer in human history that was orchestrated. If you don't think it was orchestrated, I don't know what to tell you. You aren't paying attention. It was too coordinated on too many things. And
not only that, anyway. The people... It amazes me that like so many people like, oh, big pharma, we trust them. Like, oh, all these companies that literally make money off us being sick, and if we're not sick, they don't get paid. And people are just so easy to trust the government, the ones that they've been protesting in the streets for the last 2 years. I mean, really, 5 years, 6 years, every time it's a freaking election, every single time something ends up happening. There's a protest. You know, they protest about race. They protest about police violence, all these different things. But
the substance of those things is usually the government sucks in some capacity. Like, you're mad about the government sucking in some particular category. Yep. And then as soon as it's like the largest possible category for them to get wrong and they butcher it, and you don't get to hold the hand of your dying loved ones because of some dumbass asymptomatic scary thing that everybody knew was bullshit, but Fauci wouldn't say that. And talk about, dude, if you told me I couldn't hold my dad's hand when he was dying, if you got in my way as a doctor 7 years ago, I would have pressed so many charges against you for psychological abuse, for emotional like manipulation, for so many things. And there is hundreds of millions of people who had to go through similar things to that. And we're just going to let everybody off the hook. This is a joke. No damn way.
It's a complete joke. So Fauci for prison. Hashtag Fauci for prison. Let's talk about the election.
Somebody, Wake Up with Linda said this today. She said, Fauci lied, people died, go make them cry.
Oof.
That's a good line. Fauci lied, people died, let's go make them cry.
Yep.
Because they deserve to be shamed for doing something like this.
100%. I cannot agree anymore. Let's talk about the elections real quick. Quick little update. Again, I mean, as big and damning this Fauci story, they want us to not focus on what's going on with these elections. So quick little update. The biggest update, Arizona, I think, is now 75% done with the audit. So we're probably about 2 weeks away from getting the full report from this forensic audit. Anthony Sabatini, Florida congressman, tweeted out 2 days ago, what is the report that is going to come out of Arizona is going to be devastating for the left. So, the feedback we're hearing, the optimism we're hearing is looking pretty strong. But today, or yesterday, on Wednesday, the delegators from Pennsylvania, some local Pennsylvania senators, congressmen, they had a full-on tour in Arizona, Maricopa County, of the entire audit. And the reason why is because they are very close from getting this full forensic audit agreed to in Pennsylvania. So we're looking like in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we could see now, not just Arizona, Pennsylvania is doing a full forensic audit. And the reason why the delegators were there, they were there because they want to see what they can learn from their Maricopa County one, the Arizona audit, when they start theirs in Pennsylvania, what they like, what they don't like. And so again, guys, what's happening with the audits are happening. We are going to get to the bottom of Arizona. We're going to get to the bottom of Pennsylvania. We're already getting to the bottom of Georgia. We already got to the bottom in Fulton County, and we're most likely going to see Georgia fall into place. And then Michigan and Wisconsin right now, they are talking about it. They're I will say, props to these legislators and props to these Republican House and senators in these swing states, because they are not backing down. And the optimism that Trump keeps giving is, he's optimistic about this, and I think it is very strategic, the fact that Trump is planning his rally starting in July, because the audit will be done for Arizona. I'm sure Pennsylvania and Georgia will be started by then. There is optimism. Now, what happens after that? Again, I think that is it's the wild, wild west. But if you have Arizona come out and say, hey, this forensic audit came through, Trump won. And then Georgia comes out and says Trump won. Pennsylvania says Trump won. Then you have multiple lawsuits going to the Supreme Court. What happens? It'll be a very interesting time for the United States of America. But we need to stay on point, and the way that you can stay up to date with what's going on with these forensic audits is the War Room, Populist Press. Stay in touch with Boris. I don't remember Boris's last name.
Yeah, me neither.
But he's on Instagram. He's on Twitter. He was one of Rudy Giuliani's lawyers for the entire election fraud. But there is good news. We remember, again, we have to get to the bottom of the two things. One is where COVID came from, and number two, what happened on November 3rd. We remember Michigan, the white van that pulled up at 3 o'clock in the morning with 100,000 ballots. We remember in Pennsylvania, the truck driver that signed an affidavit and literally said that he didn't even vote. He was not even a Trump voter. He drove a truck from New York to Pennsylvania, dropped off stayed in a hotel, and literally he came back in the morning and his entire truck was gone. There was over 100,000 ballots in that truck, signed affidavit. We remember what happened in Georgia when they pulled out the briefcases at 11 o'clock at night, and they sent everybody home when they told the media they were done counting for the night because they needed to take a break. We remember what happened. We remember. And we cannot let our foot off the pedal until we get to the bottom of November 3rd, 2020. Ross, you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so who did you say toured the facility? Who was it?
The Pennsylvania delegators.
Okay. And then you said somebody came out and said it's going to be damning. I mean, I'm counting that. But
Anthony Sabatini came out and said that he's a congressman out of Florida. He got a report supposedly from Arizona and saying that it is. Let me pull up the.
Yeah.
Let me find the tweet.
I mean, we've all kind of been suspecting it. One of the telltale things of it was that the guy, whoever's running it, came out and he said, we're having to hire extra people to go find all of the addresses that were vacant lots and find all of the dead people that voted. So they had to hire more people to help go track all those down. And they only needed, so that's a verifiable fact that there obviously had more than 30, and they only needed, 11,000 votes to be shifted for Trump to be able to say that they won Arizona. Go ahead, Jordan.
He said the result of the Arizona audit is going to be earth-shattering. Get ready. I mean,
that's so great. I remember him saying that, and I didn't know how authoritative his sentence was because I didn't look into it.
This just came out, June 3rd, just came out. More than 500 Republicans in Georgia are urging Brian Kemp to pursue a forensic audit of the 2020 election. That was just reported. We believe that anyone who has a problem with a statewide forensic audit in Georgia has something to hide, the letter reads. Our goals are simple. We want to discover the underlying problems that occurred last year and ensure that we never make these same mistakes again. Kemp's office responded, pushing back, saying that we don't have the constitutional authority to conduct an audit of the 2020 election. Again, rhino. We have rhinos. We got to get these rhinos out. That's why 2022 is so big. And speaking about rhinos, I don't know if you saw this, Ross. Arizona passed a bill to ban critical race theory.
Yeah, I saw. And Trump called him out. Who was it?
The governor, a Republican governor, the governor of Arizona, Ducey, who is also has already gotten so much flack from Republicans because he did not back up he was very weak on the election, and he pushed it through and certified the election when the legislators were saying, hey, we need to look into this and do an audit. He said no. He pushed it through. He signed it and certified it. Well, now the same Republican governor just vetoed the bill. I mean, please tell me why a Republican governor is vetoing a bill that bans critical race theory in the education system of an entire state of Arizona.
It's sad,
man. Teaching our kids to hate one another, that America sucks, that America is racist. It's bullcrap. Again, guys, this is why we have to know our candidates in 2022. We have to be involved. Again, if you go to speaktruthwithoutfear.com, speaktruthwithoutfear.com, you put in your email. What you get right away is the one-page document that we made. It's 3 steps on one page of how to engage and practically pressure your local government officials. Because if you're living in Arizona right now, you need to follow these steps. You need to call your local representatives and say, hey, you guys need to get on Governor Ducey's butt. Get on his ass and start pressuring these politicians to work for you.
Yeah, they owe us, man. They owe us, and nobody's paying attention to this stuff because we're all too busy, guys. The difference between us and the early colonies was that everybody had to be involved with everything that was going on because it directly impacted their life. You're not too busy. If you're too busy, you're not living the American life the right way. You are actually supposed to be involved, guys. It doesn't matter, even if you can only do it at an hour or 2 hour long scale, like a month. Anything is better than nothing, and you have to start saying words again to people in power, because it's not a monarchy. We don't live in a kingdom. We live in something that me and you are paying tax dollars for it to be run the way that me and you want it to be run. And when you aren't involved, there's no way to guarantee that your words are being heard. And, they're geniuses on this level. That's where they're cutting all of our throats at, is at the local levels. So if you guys go to the Speak Truth Without Fear website, there's a really easy way for you to know 2 or 3 things you can do right off the bat that are super simple but really helpful. Punch in your email address, and Jordan, is it automated that it goes to them?
Right away,
PDF?
immediately.
So if you punch in your email address there, you are going to get the PDF that we made specifically for people asking the question that you should be asking right now, which is, what is the little steps I can do to do something? We send it to you. We tell you what to do so you don't have to guess. And guys, we can take this country back again to being in line with the way that we all feel good about, rather than being frustrated about, like me and Jordan consistently are on all of our shows.
And it's not even what we feel good about. It's about how the founding fathers intentionally made it to be from the Constitution. I mean, that is what we're fighting for. We're not even trying to change crap to make us, feel good. That's what the left is trying to do. We're just hey, we want to go back to what we want the Constitution to be the Constitution. We want the law to be enforced. We're not racist because we want to have borders at our country. And right now we have thousands of people every single day crossing it. And you have people that are in line legally that can literally bring their skills and their talents, and they want to come the right way and they can't. This has to stop. With that being said, I think we're good. We hit on the election. If anyone takes anything from this, number one, there's no reason to fear.
No, not anymore, guys. The tide is turning, man. Jordan was in some really big meetings this week. I was in some really big meetings this week with people that can control whole spheres of economic circles, and we're coming fighting with a vengeance, man. We're coming fighting with a vengeance. It's time for everybody to stand up. It's the right time now, and don't feel like you're alone anymore. Let's go do the awkward thing and make this awesome.
Yep, I love it. So, again, really quick, if you're listening right now, one new thing, we are now on Spotify. So if you have Spotify, you can listen to this on Spotify. You can listen to this on the Apple Podcasts. You can also watch these on YouTube, on Rumble, on Facebook. So if you are listening, if you ever want to watch these on video, again, I'm doing this right now in Dallas in a hotel room through my AirPods, so the audio quality probably isn't as good. We're doing it, but we wanted to get this information to you guys because it is important. It is so important. Ross, we're good. We will be back on Wednesday for the next one, and you guys don't want to miss it. And then definitely catch us on the Instagram Lives, which me and Ross do every single Tuesday and Thursday night. We love you. We'll talk to you later.